Fidelis, Cobra Serpens. Oh my gosh. So, alright, I have a, well, it's not I have. This is my review of the Cobra H.I.S.S tank from HasLab that I do not own. This was given to me on loan just for this review, and sadly I will have to give it back. And not only that, but I will not be able to open up Cobra Commander as the owner wishes to keep that sealed. So, oh well. Yeah, so a little quick history here, because this does kind of hit with that. One, the H.I.S.S tank was the very first g.i.joe vehicle I ever got. I think next came the Jeep, but the H.I.S.S was the very first vehicle, and I think I only had one other Cobra. I had the Cobra officer, and so I had kind of the perfect regiment with no one to attack. So that's how I ended up getting the Vamp later from my dad. But this was the first vehicle I had, and I loved the driver. The driver in this design, I loved him so much that, of course, I immediately used him as somebody who could like shoot lasers from his hands. He was like the first essentially evil space knight, I guess you could call it. But in regards to this particular H.I.S.S, here's what happened. So I think Facebook sent me some kind of a message as I was doom scrolling that there was that the H.I.S.S tank was suddenly becoming available in some new release form, and I didn't know about Classified, and the only figures that I was collecting at that time were the NECA horror figures. That's all I had, and so I saw it. And I thought, oh, that's so cool that they're actually going to do this. And for some reason, at that time, I didn't realize it was something that you just couldn't buy. You know, that it was a HasLab, but that I didn't look into that. So then a friend of mine, I think the person who let me borrow this, said, "Hey, you better get on this." And I said, oh, okay. So I went to look at the prices. Now, I did not go on Pulse when I first saw this. I just went online. And all I saw online was, oh, it's $500, it's $600. I'm like, shoot, I can't fucking pay that. I don't have $600. So I thought I couldn't afford it. And that was like, I think maybe a week before the HasLab ended. And on the day after the HasLab ended, that's when I found out, no, you could have bought this for $299 plus tax. And I was like, wait, what? No! And that was the end of it. And I missed out on ever getting a H.I.S.S tank. And those prices I saw were mostly on eBay. They were already selling their pre-orders for $500, $600, $700 before they even had it. And once again, I didn't realize the scam that would be going on here is that you would pay for it, and they would be like, in 3 months' time, they would be like, oh, well, yeah, I'm going to send it to you when I get it. You just trust me. Thanks for that $700. Bye-bye. There's not anything you could do. They're not going to give you your money back. So, and so here we are now. The H.I.S.S tank is finally being shipped out to everyone, and everyone's having this fabulous, wonderful time with their H.I.S.S tanks, and I'm going to sadly not be able to enjoy this, but at least I'll be able to have touched it. I will have touched a H.I.S.S tank, and it's touched its driver. Yeah, that just sounded bad coming out of my mouth. But now here's the thing. The person who lent me this actually sells toys for a living, and this is actually already sold. and it's Oni Toys, which I designed their logo. And I'm going to put the logo, I guess, maybe, I don't know, maybe right here so you can see. I honestly don't know how much of an online presence they have, but I do know that they go to one of the toy expos that happens every month in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and he's got more obscure old Transformers than I've ever seen in my entire life. He brings massive, huge buckets, these bins that are easily 3 or 4 feet long and about 2 feet wide. He's got several of them, and he just unloads, and he has to buy 2 tables just to stack it with all of these old Transformers that he has. So anyway, enough of my rambling on. Now, doing my little shtick with the box is probably not going to work out too well here because there's not a whole lot going on. It's mostly just artwork. And besides, you've all probably seen a gazillion of these reviews anyway. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to cut to the chase on this because this box it's chunky, it's difficult to lift, it's heavy, and all it is artwork you can just see online. There's really nothing super cool in my mind about it. So with that said, give me a moment to unbox a little bit. I'll show some of the intricates on this.
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.
All right, just want to show that when you first open this up, the first sight you see is this Cobra thing. I'm going to be doing this in parts because otherwise it's boring. All right, it comes in 2 boxes, this very thin box with the Cobra symbol and one that just says Cobra H.I.S.S that's obviously big. So clearly this is the figures and the other one's the actual vehicle. So we're going to, I don't know, we're just going to do this separately and then we'll see it all out on the table. All right, and so this is what you're greeted with. It's extremely well packed. That is for sure. Unbelievable. Anyway, let's. I'm gonna pull this out, and then we'll see how the figures are oriented. All right, so the H.I.S.S comes like massively wrapped, as is each little item is individually bagged up in a baggie. For amazing levels of protection. So you've got to rip open all these baggies to kind of get to it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get to it. All right, I managed to get everything out of the box and out of their little plastic wrappers. So we'll get into the accessories here in a minute. I guess we'll just do that now, and then we'll do the figures. So clearly you see we have big old tank here, pretty darn big. Now, one of the things that I personally want to point out, all right, so putting a little light on this, one thing I want to point out that not too many people have pointed out. There's a paint app on the turrets, on all the turret cannons. It's kind of like what happens if you superheat metal and it starts to discolor. And I like the fact that they put that there because it suggests that they've blasted lasers from this so much that they've overheated the nozzles and they've discolored as a result. And that's pretty cool. And it's got, paint apps all over it, really. Metallic paint apps, red paint apps, even the Cobra symbol. I mean, they kind of went all out. And that plugs in underneath. I know it's not going to be in focus, but it plugs in just underneath right here. Now, I'm worried about putting this thing together because then I'm going to have to take it apart to give it back to ship it. So I apologize. I'm not going to be able to put this thing completely together. So there's that. Then you get 2 of these missile bays. Let me go back to manual targeting computer. I don't know if that's the right direction. There we go. And so each of these missiles all have a Cobra symbol and red plastic, and they have a bullet for blast effects. Now, I've talked to other people, and I haven't verified whether or not the blast effects from the previous things work. So hold on one second. All right, just to show, even though there is a port here, these blast effects do not really fit. You could force it and try to make it fit, but it's clearly not meant for that. I don't know what they were planning to do there. But what I will show you is that these do come off. They are separate. and they have like a dog bone port. So each of these missiles do separate. So that's kind of cool. They're not on there very tight. But so you get 12 of those? 12 of those. And these port in, if I'm not mistaken, there is a there's this little port there. I know it's blurry. Let me go ahead and sharpen her up. All right, so right there, that port, that's where this goes. It just plugs in there, and it can move around and articulate. But that's where that goes. Okay, then you get these little Gatling guns. And they articulate and go on the outside of the turret. And there's ports for blast effects, and you can use the jet pack, the jump pack blast effect if you want to. That fits, as will standard blast effects. They also fit just fine. So really cool there, and it of course articulates mostly just up and down. And they come with drums. These little drums fit, port in on this little hole there. Nope. There we go. Yeah, so they are keyed. My bad. So they're keyed, and so you can't put them in wrong. And there are paint apps on this as well. Very cool, very cool. Then it comes with a shield, this blast shield that has a Cobra symbol embossed on it. That also just ports in right on top of the turret. If I can show the turret. But before I show the turret, let's go for the big ass gun. It's got like a little, like a I don't know, I guess a steering wheel that actually turns with a Cobra symbol embossed on it. And once again, we've got those anodized or melted turrets because they've been shot so much. That's so cool. And it has a port. The hole seems awfully big, but yeah, they're too big for this. So I'm not sure which blast effects you're supposed to use with that. It's possible your Marvel Legends blast effects might work on that. We shall see. Also a nice Cobra paint app there. And this, with those two portholes, that just plugs in directly on the... and they move independently and click around into place. So, yeah, you can move them and position them any way you want. Any way you want. And then you get two different canopies. So... canopy, if you want the quote-unquote classified version of the canopy, it's got this badass DeLorean-style gull wings that lift up, and it's got this beautiful red paint app on it. So you can go that route if you please, or you can go absolute old school and just use the standard regular canopy that the vintage version had. And it's, kind of whatever you want. Choose your own adventure. Then you get... what these, I guess, the classic coverings for your tank. You just peg them into the side panel, and it's fine. You also get the ultra armored, super duper classified armor plates. Yeah. I don't know. I personally would just make it look old school. Although I can't deny that the special stuff on it is really, really cool. And one thing I might also note is that it does move. The treads rotate, everything rotates, and it's made of rubber. That's pretty darn badass. 1 and 2. Oh yeah, this comes down. It's kind of cool. But it'll be more interesting, I guess, when you've got figures to put in it. But I shall return.
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.
You also get sticker sheets, which I'm not allowed to open. I'm supposed to leave these alone. So there you have it. Stickers. Alright, so these are the figure boxes. And this is the one we can't touch with the 2-foot cattle prod, because they want to keep it in box. But it's a very bright blue. It looks kind of cool. Legs look a little crossed there. Lots of accessories that look kind of neat. I think even the gun has a paint app on it. I don't know if I can... Let's see if I can cut through this plastic and show you. Let's see if that... I don't know if that's coming through. There we go. So that gun has a paint app. A lot of great detail here. There's a shot of that Mickey Mouse Cobra symbol. Really cool. And the box is better cardboard than the previous, but I wouldn't say is as substantial as the retro Marvel stuff. Hopefully we'll see whether or not that changes. So these are the boxes. And also, if you want to know, this isn't real marker. It's pretty convincing looking, but it's still a digital print. So it's not like he actually signed each and every one, because wouldn't that be interesting? All right, I'm going to take these gentlemen all out of the box. There's not a lot of... I guess I could show the numbers. Why not? So you get number 19. Ooh. No, I didn't even have any light. I don't have any light. All right. No. Problems with lighting today. All right, so he's number 1999 in the line. He's got some impressive stats going on. And look, you get... I don't know, you get some line art with some little tiny weapons. Yeah, look. And yeah, look at that, 788. And you know what you don't get? You know what you don't get? You get something on the bottom, you get that. But you don't get the QR code. There's no QR code or barcode for you. And this guy right here, he's the Cobra Tactician. He is number 100 in the line. He got some also impressive stats, are very similar to the other guy. And look, more impressive line art with the same basic loadout. And look at that. Yes, and again, no QR code for you, nothing. And finally, we get the gunner. And look at this, he's number 101 in the line. He got better stats, and comes with a lot more stuff, and still no QR code for you. All right, I'm going to get them on out of the box because holy crap! Bazinga! All right, so I've got them all out of the box, and I can already tell that just in the way that they felt, they're just going to be awesome, and I'm going to be so stupid sad that I don't ever get to own them, and this is the closest I'm ever going to have to just cop a feel on them. But there's something I want to point out if I can. I'm going to try to. On the, so I'm going to see if I can show you this. Each of these packages has a number right there. So each of the whatever these are, these little sacks, have numbers on them, 99, 100, and 101, just in case you weren't sure which came with which. So, let's have a closer look at some of these badasses. I'm going to take the original dude. All right, get some light on his ass. Come on, turn on. Don't tell me you ran out of battery. There we go. Is this working? I think it is. All right. Now, one of the first things that I thought was so cool is that this vest, whatever it is, kind of just sticks out in that beautiful silver Cobra symbol. And it almost looks like it's a separate piece that they just kind of glued on. I mean, you could probably take it off. So it looks like it might even come off. We had a bit of a crash, ran out of space on the mem card. Had to get a new mem card. So not sure where we left off on, but he's badass. And not only does he have this absolutely beautiful, stunning silver Cobra symbol, but the details, the feel of the figure is just incredible. And it looks like this vest, or whatever he's wearing, is removable, should you desire to remove it. So I'm not sure what kind of buck is underneath, but it kind of, based on these ridges, he might be a, well, probably not, but he might be a trooper. Not sure. But one thing I want to find out here. So this was early on in the production, but it doesn't look like he has. He might have a hinged neck. No, maybe not. So let's see. Yep. T-poses, no problem. So far, the feel of the figure is just, I love it. Absolutely love it. And they don't hinder his ab crunch. He's got these thick, beautiful, I mean, this is beautiful. This is a return to the way they were. And in fact, one thing I didn't check on these guys is who made these. 3252A. Okay, so it's that version that made it. Don't see where they've stamped the number, but man, this the details on his wristband thing is pretty intricate. I mean, they definitely spent some time. The paint on this is thick, like it's a thick, juicy red paint, and so far it just absolutely incredible. And now I'm quadruple sad that I will not ever get to own my absolute, one of my favorite all-time figures of all time. Just no joke. I don't know. Maybe I'll try to find him on eBay and just have him. But I know that he's going for like $50 just by himself. But that's just too much. That's two figures. I'd rather just, I don't know. Maybe I'll get him some year. Some year. And his accessories are this kind of interesting. You know how they did that futuristic AR? Well, it's kind of this is like a futuristic vector gun. So we've kind of seen this gun before in, say, Valaverse. It's got this badass painted blade on it. There's a port for blast effects, but here's the problem. When you have that blade sticking out, finding room to put a blast effect is weird. So you may have to do without the there. So that's about what you'll have to do, because having a blast before, it's just not going to really work. Let's see, does this come off? Yeah. So the clip comes out, the magazine. Pretty cool. And he comes with this. It's got a port for blast effect.